my channel. It's your girl Tiarra Monet. What up to all my royalties? Let me know if you like the ring of that. I just thought it sounded cute. Today's video is going to show you exactly how I get my flawless foundation with hashtag no flashback, because ain't nobody got time for that. Before we get started, y'all Benji's got mommies. You gotta solidify this relationship by pressing subscribe and then pressing the notification button, and then we'll be Gucci, right Benji? Tell your godmommies they gotta subscribe. Spoiled little baby back here. Anyway, I've been using the Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Weightless Foundation in the shade Cool Almond, and I know you guys see a trend. I am into the whole weightless foundation, and these are my two favorite foundations. They are very similar, the Bobbi Brown and Nars. They're both weightless foundations. I'm gonna put the link in the description below to my video where I show you guys how I get prepped for the winter. So I follow that routine right now. That's all I have on. What I like to do on top of that is use my Becca First Light Priming Filter. It's in a lavender shade and that really brightens up the skin. I use about 1 pump and I apply that all over the face. And then to give me a little bit of that glow in the winter, I'll follow up with my Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Liquid in the shade Opal. And I like to just apply that to all the areas that I highlight. It kind of gives you like a really dewy start underneath your foundation. So right now we are glowing. This is the start of the glow up. Next, I'm going to color correct using my Makeup Forever concealer in the shade R50. And for brown skin tones, I like to use a peach or orange. Another option, if you don't want to spend Makeup Forever money, is the LA Pro Conceal, and this is in the shade orange. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the concealer and put it on the back of my hand, because that's about all that I use. But I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see what I'm color correcting. Okay, so now we are all up in my grills. Okay, so I'm going to be concealing all of this right here, and I'm just going to apply that to all those areas I just showed you. And I like to use very little product, because when you use less product, that's how you eliminate flashback. And you guys can see that little dot went a long way. I didn't add any extra product. This is a Sephora Airbrush concealer brush. I'm going to just take whatever's left on the back of my hand, and I'm going to just blend this out so that I don't have any harsh lines sitting up under my foundation. So you guys can see the little orange going on here. So I'm going to just take 2 pumps of this. Excuse this little ugly scar. And that's about all the foundation that I use. And I just take my finger and I apply it to the areas that I color correct first. That's the area that I want the foundation to do its best work. Then I'm going to just take a foundation brush and I'm going to blend the foundation out with a brush first and then go back in. And I like to just bring it down the neck a little bit. We don't want layers and layers of product, so because we're going to highlight under the eye, it's okay to stop like about right here. And then I'm going to go in with the Beauty Blender and just buff that out. And this is the major key, guys. So we're looking pretty good already, and that is because we've applied our foundation and then buffed it out. You want to make sure that you're super blended. I prefer to use foundation to highlight and contour. I love the way cream foundations blend out, and I feel like it gives you a really nice thin application. I don't want to feel like I'm wearing makeup, you know? If I refer to my foundation as concealer, you know what I mean. But I use foundation stick. Instead of using Golden Honey from Bobbi Brown, I found a dupe at Sephora. It is the foundation and concealer stick in the shade Cedar. It glides on just like my Bobbi Brown. I like to go about 3 shades lighter than my natural skin tone. I don't like to go any further. That is the one mistake that is going to cause you to have flashback. Going too light when highlighting. So I'm going to apply this in all the areas that I want to attract light to. Then to create a gradient effect, I'm going to go in with my Nars Amande. This is going to be 1 shade darker than this, and I'm just going to apply a very thin layer underneath my highlight to create a gradient effect when blending. I'm going to go in with the Real Technique blender and blend that out. And you don't want to drag your concealer all the way out to your hairline. You want to stay right in this area. I also don't bring my concealer too far up under the eye, because that's where I'm more prone to creasing. So you want to have as little product in the areas that you're prone to creasing as possible. So at this point, my blender is like, it's damp, but it's not wet. And I find that sometimes when the Beauty Blender is wet, it causes the product to move too much. So you just want to make sure you dampen this, but squeeze out the excess water on a towel or a paper towel or something like that. So now I'm going to just take the wide part of my blender and just blend the edges of the highlighted area into the foundation. So we're looking good, right? Not over highlighted. So now we're going to go into contour, because you want to apply all of our products and then set them all together. And I like to use 2 products to contour, just because I like to use a darker color for my cheek and like any area that I want to kind of snatch. And then for my nose, I like to use more of a subtle contour. So I'm going to use my Anastasia Beverly Hills Cool Earth Stick Foundation. This is in a really nice deep chocolate brown. So I'm not going to apply too much product, but I'm going to just kind of cut that cheekbone. I like to define my chin. I like to go in right at the temple. And then I like to just go in the shape of my forehead Then I'm going to take my Fenty Beauty Matchstick in the shade Truffle, which is an even lighter brown, and I'm going to draw that on both sides of my nose. I'm going to go on my MAC 130 brush, and I'm going to start right at the eyebrow and buff that backwards into the hairline, and then follow the contour up and around. And then I'm just going to go in circular motions and buff that out. Now it's time to go back in with your booty blender and buff that back out. And you don't want to kind of move too far, like you want to stay in the same area. We don't want to bring that brown up into our highlight, but we just want to kind of bridge them together. Now for the nose contour, I'm going to use an eyeshadow brush. So next up is our microwaving, and I say microwaving because I don't like to bake. I feel like when I bake, sometimes the powder kind of gets stuck into the skin and it gives me like a really cakey look. So I have 3 powders that I like to use. I know. One is the traditional translucent powder and the other is the medium deep. And you guys can see the difference in the colors. The last powder is the Cover FX medium. If both the setting powders had a baby, this would be what it would look like. A flawless finish is something that has a beautiful gradient-like effect, so that's what we want to achieve here. So the area that I want to be the most highlighted is right here in the middle of the face. So I'm going to dip into that translucent powder, and I'm going to pop that right here on the sides of the nose. This is going to kind of sharpen our contour, and then right under the eye. So now we be looking a little crazy. We're gonna tone it down. Next, I'm gonna take that medium powder, which is from Cover FX, and I'm gonna use that just in this area because you don't want the forehead to be over highlighted. Now you can stop with just these 2 products, but I've had these forever, so I use them all and I'm just used to it. Then I'm gonna just take a little bit and pop that underneath the lower Mercier and right on the Cupid's bow and under the mouth. Since I do have the dark Laura Mercier, I like to use that. And this is a really chocolate setting powder. Using that same poof, and I'm gonna set underneath my contour. And you're gonna look like you have a legit beard, but it's okay. So the reason I say microwave is because as soon as I'm done applying my powder, I'm taking it off. This is enough for me. The powder has definitely set in. I'm gonna take my Real Technique Duo Fiber Contour Brush, and I love this because it definitely blends and wicks away the powder at the same damn time. Next, what I'm gonna do is take my MAC Mineralizing Skin Finish and just set the cream contour with that, and this is gonna help blend my highlight into my contour. This area was set and this area was set, however we did not set any of the darker areas, so I'm setting and blending at the same time. And to further enhance that gradient effect, I'm going to take my MAC Blunt. This is the final step with contour, and I'm going to just lightly apply that where I applied the cream contour. So the Mineralizing Skin Finish and this blunt creates yet another gradient effect, and that's going to be doing all the blending for us. Alright, we're getting closer. What I do next is lightly set my face to let all the powder set in before I highlight. So I'm going to be using my Becca Chrissy palette. I'm going to use the Hibiscus Bloom blush, which is this pretty pink shade right here. And I'm going to follow my contour line, starting at the apples of my cheeks, and sweep it upwards. And then using a fan brush, I'm going to go into that rose gold shade, and I'm going to follow that same contour. You guys can kind of see where the light hits me. So I'm going to start here and work my way up in circular motions because you just don't want like a line of highlight. I like to put very little on the forehead. The forehead can get really tricky. And I'm going to use a little pointed brush and apply that to the tip of my nose. Just like that. And I'm not going to bring this all the way down. I like to just keep it right here so it kind of creates a visual illusion that it is connecting, but it's not. And then to further set, because you guys know I like to bathe in setting spray, I'm going to use my Too Faced Peach Mist. So I'm going to just apply my lipstick and come back with the finished look. This is what my skin looks like with the ring light. Now I'm going to turn the ring light off. It looks even better without the ring light. And you guys can see there is Team No Flashback. Now I'm going to take it without the filter. You guys can see there is no flashback. The skin looks really soft. I'm really happy. I hope you girls enjoyed this video. The key to a flawless highlight and contour routine is blending, honey. And remember that baking does not mean that your makeup's gonna look better. Sometimes you might just look a little cakey and nobody got time for that, okay? If you guys want to see how I did this quick old nasty hot ponytail goddess bubble look, let me know. Be sure to hit me on Instagram or Snapchat and let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see next. I hope this helped you. I'll list all the products that I use in the description bar below. All the jewels are there, guys, so if you missed anything in the video, you can just go right there. And I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.